We have added the models for inquiry header and inquiry detail. What we want to do next here is we want to add them to a repository pattern. For that, we first need to add that to application DB context, and we have to push them to the database. So I can just copy the application user that I have here, and I'll modify this to inquiry header, and I'll make this inquiry header. That being said, if you notice inquiry detail here, if you do not have the public keyword, let's go back and try to add inquiry detail now. So we'll do prop db set. This will be on inquiry detail. So if you see here, it's not readable. And that's because you don't have the public keyword. So make sure you add this keyword, or you'll be trying to figure out why you do not see that class when you want to use it. So now it's visible. We will add inquiry detail here, and we'll add inquiry detail. Once you add this, we need to push the migration. So we'll open up the package manager console. In here, you have to select the default project as data access, and we will add a migration. I will name this add inquiry header and detail to DB. We have an error here, and the error seems a little weird. Let's analyze our model one more time here. So we have the inquiry header, which has an integer ID. Let's go to the inquiry detail. Here, the inquiry header ID should be an integer, because if we take a look at the inquiry header, the primary key is an integer. So once you make that change, if you go to package manager and run the migration, let me make sure for product, we have the same mistake here. We'll make them as integer. String, we were doing that inside inquiry header because application user ID is a GUID and we have to use string for that. But in all the other places, we have the primary key as integer. So we'll just rerun our migration, and this time it should not give any error message. Great, you can see it added the migration. If you take a look at this, it is adding inquiry header with constraints of foreign key on the application user, and it adds inquiry detail with constraint of 2 foreign key, one with the inquiry header ID and next with the product ID. That's exactly what we wanted. So let's update the database now. Perfect. So our migration has been pushed to the database, and now in the next video, what we can work on is we will be adding inquiry header and detail to a repository pattern.